What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, March 23rd. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We're rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Andrew Wiggins, Jamal Murray, Damian Lillard, Bruce Brown, and Dennis Schroeder. Those five guys look pretty normal. It's going to be a little bit different at the top. Who will be my favorites, my top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. We're starting off with a doozy. Number 5, point guard eligible Tyler Johnson. He's 3,100, so $100 above the minimum. Projected for 20. The goal's 33. He's in the optimal lineup 26% of the time. No Kyrie Irving tonight. That's step 1. No Landry Shamet. That's step 2. I gave Tyler Johnson 28 minutes. I think he's going to get a decent chunk of run. James Harden might not play today. He might be even higher than this as we get closer to lock. 28 minutes, 16% usage, 11.5 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, a stock. Huge total in this game, though. It's a bit of a pace down spot. I'm not really worried about that. This game has about somewhere in the mid 230s of a total. Every other game is in like the high 210s or low 220s. So very different fantasy game here. And Tyler Johnson at $100 above the minimum with multiple injuries for the Nets. This is just a spot you have to be today. He's going to be pretty highly owned, but as a value play, you can't really go wrong. This guy happens to be in. He pairs really nicely with Tyler Johnson. Number 4, point guard eligible James Harden. He's 11K, projected for 61.3. The goal is 60.5. So he hits his goal more than a coin flip. Optimal lineup 27% of the time. I gave him 37 minutes, 1.66 fantasy points per minute because there's no Kyrie Irving. And you know what happens when James Harden plays without any other studs on the floor. He does everything. 10.5 assists, 9 rebounds, close to a triple-double projection. This doesn't get much better. The question is, does he play? Questionable right now with a neck injury. If he's out, bump up everybody from the Nets. But if he is in, I don't mind paying that 11K price tag because Kyrie Irving isn't there and James Harden is going to have to do everything to keep this team in the game. He's going to take all the shots. He's going to facilitate, rebound, do it all. Pairs very nicely with a $3,100 Tyler Johnson. Makes it really easy to afford Harden. I don't mind playing them together. Right now, with James Harden questionable, he is my number 4 contender. Keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you're watching live before lock for news. Next up at number 3, we're going to another net. That would be center Nick Claxton. He is 3,900, projected for 25. The goal is 36. He's in the optimal lineup 28% of the time. Claxton's been seeing more minutes, and now with the addition of Blake Griffin, I think they're starting to slowly phase out DeAndre Jordan, slowly give more minutes to Nick Claxton. I just think that he is simply better right now. I'm actually projecting him a little bit pessimistically. 1.05 fantasy points per minute, 19% usage in just 24 minutes, but 11 points, 5.5 boards, almost 2 blocks. I think that there is a little bit of minutes upside, particularly if Harden ends up out, but either way. And at a price tag under 4K, I'm not really worried about it. It's the best matchup on the slate. And for a center that could be north of a fantasy point per minute, that could play more than 24 minutes, this is a spot that I need to be to extract value to get to the Damian Lillards, the Jamal Murrays, the James Hardens, etc. I like the value on Claxton. It's not great, but keep your eye on his ownership. If it gets excessively high and Harden is still in, it might bring me away from him. But on a raw surface in a cash game, don't be afraid to use Nick Claxton. But I do prefer a different center. That would be center eligible Montrezl Harrell. He is number 2, 6,800, projected for 40. The goal is 46. He's in the optimal lineup 29% of the time. Damian Jones is no longer with the Lakers. His second 10-day contract expired. Marc Gasol is back from COVID, but probably not ready. Don't know if he's going to be able to play. So Harrell, I think, is just a lock to see north of 30 minutes, barring foul trouble. I gave him 32. That's a 1.24 fantasy point per minute guy at 32 minutes. 27% usage with no LeBron and no AD. We're talking 23-9 as a baseline. Taking on the Pels, pretty nice matchup for him. Should be pretty up and down. I think that fits Harrell pretty well. I don't think Steven Adams is really that big of a problem for Montrezl Harrell, and it's certainly not Jackson Hayes. Either way, 6,800 for Harrell is just not the right price for the minutes that he's going to be playing now. You wish that he had better eligibility, but I really do like that combo of Harrell and Claxton soaking up a lot of my ownership on this 6-game slate. Now, before we get to that number one last reminder to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then head to Twitter, Josh Engleman, you search for that guy, click on it, hit the follow button. You want to follow me there. That way you can get all of the updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. And then finally, go underneath this video, hop into the comments section, let me know who your favorite and least favorite contenders are. And if there's somebody that I didn't mention, let me know who your favorite contender is for today's slate. And finally, the number one contender, point guard, shooting guard eligible, Jordan Poole. He's 5,600, projected for 33. The goal is 42. He's in the optimal lineup, just like Harrell, 29% of the time. Poole's going to get a huge benefit. No Steph Curry, but everybody else is back. So I'm giving Jordan Poole 34 minutes. That would make him a 0.97 fantasy point per minute guy in that time. 23% usage and kind of an empty stat line. 20 points, yay. 3 boards, 3.5 assists. Pace up spot, though, against Philly. This should be a faster paced game. No Embiid should make it a little bit better of a defensive matchup as well. But ultimately, we're getting a starting point guard playing north of 30 minutes with dual eligibility at a $5,600 price tag. I'm more than okay with that. That makes Jordan Poole the number one contender on today's slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, March 23rd. I'm on the strategy show with Lofty today, but no live before lock. So tune into the process show tomorrow morning. Keep your eyes peeled for another edition of the Contenders, and I will see you guys again tomorrow morning. Good luck, everybody.